Welcome! I'm starting a live today in a different time. I'm checking how this is gonna resonate with me, if it's better for me to do it in the afternoons, but because now I'm visiting my home country, so I'm having a bit of a different schedule, maybe no schedule. So personally I prefer to do it in the morning, so probably when I return to England I'll continue that. And yeah, so you can let me know if what time suits you best and what time would be best for you, and then I'll think about it. And so today I want to talk about space in terms of mindfulness, mental health, in terms of pain actually, and chronic pain, because this is like something we're missing sometimes. And again, it's about bringing awareness into the things you already know, because you know your pain best, you know how to heal your pain, you have all the tools to free yourself from chronic pain or whatever mental pain, but I personally have the experience with chronic pain, so I really know that we have all the tools, and along the journey, along the self-healing journey, we discover new ways that work for us. Obviously, this whole life journey is for realizing things and for doing them easier, doing them better, approaching ourselves in a better way. This is basically like the pattern. This is why we evolve, and then that's why generation from generation actually we create methods and things, and we invent things that help us. But it is essential to be aware of that you're using your time and space, and actually the pattern sometimes, if you have some kind of self-punishing or self-harming or coping mechanism patterns in your mind, which I guess we all do, then it's essential for you to realize how you're using your time and space, and that you have space. Because with space I mean you need to create space in order to be pain-free. You need to create space for that, because if you are experiencing pain right now, I don't mean right now, but I mean in your life, then it means, hello, welcome, then it means that you are having the space for the pain. And we must change the patterns in our mind in order to create space where the pain doesn't need to be there. And the second parallel of this, very important, is that if we manifest pain into our lives on a chronic pattern basis, which means repetitively, that means that we are accepting the pain and we are actually expecting it on some level. This is why it repeats itself. If our mind wasn't aware of the memory and the repetitiveness of the pain, then we wouldn't be manifesting pain. So this is essential. I'm going to mention one example where we manifest pain as women, which is the women's cycle. We actually, and I just read it in a book and we just spoke about it with my friend, and this is actually the whole point which I really understood on a deep level. And I need you to understand that if you are experiencing repetitive pain, for example during your cycle or during things that are in society expected for you to feel the pain, for example giving birth, hypnobirth are great techniques that I use, then it means that your mind believes that the pain must come. Otherwise, if you didn't have any memory of experiencing the pain or any connectedness that associates, this is where you define yourself and your pain. When you connect the feelings that you're experiencing, whatever it is your body is experiencing, with the mind. Therefore, this is chronic pain that repeats itself. And I have to also explain again what chronic pain is, because I have understood that it's not so clear. Chronic pain is any repetitive pain. Anything that occurs on a on a regular, let's say, more or less a regular basis. So, for example, pain associated with periods. This is why, and I just read in a book that the initial period to the cycle, but you have to understand that these mental patterns, we receive them from our ancestor line. We receive them from before maybe we were even born. We're given them. This is the inheritance. This is what we call, maybe in the normal world or in medicine, we call this that we're inheriting, but we're inheriting like predisposition, and it is our choice how we're going to change it, especially now with mental health and with the awareness. And the same way as you can affect, if you're experiencing anxiety, depression, some uncomfortableness, as I call it, in a big bag, or pain. And this same way, this relates to pain. So whenever we have the space where we expect subconsciously or consciously, actually with with menstruation and with the cycle, it's such a big topic because the society supports this and enhances this. And as soon as someone is enhancing it in outside us, of course we try to like eliminate it, and we choose who we wanna surround ourselves with. Of course we choose that on some level, but those are patterns that are so engraved. Therefore we expect the pain to arrive, and that is where we fill the space with pain. This goes to any chronic pain, to any experience of some repetitive pain. Okay, so now back to the space. Okay, what do we want to do in order to not be experiencing pain, but instead of pain be experiencing relief on a short-term and on a long-term basis? But if the pain is chronic and regular, let's say, if we have associated pain in our mind with something, let's say a stressful situation and a triggering person even, because migraines are great example that maybe we have associated with a family member, or with some sort of situation, with some sort of triggers in our lives. Or pain can be associated, as I said, with the cycle or with giving birth, things like that. This is just the connection we have made, we have it engraved. But how to start changing it is to be aware of the space and be aware of what's before the pain came. How did we act? Because especially when there's something regular, we tend to go until our last moment. This is also related to how we take care of our energy. So I'm going to try to explain about my best, but we tend to go until the last point where it's like, I can't anymore, this is it. And even if we change big things in our life, big triggering situations, we avoid them, or we change our lifestyle or something like that, or we change even what we eat, because all of this can influence the pain, obviously. Everything influences it. But we must be aware of, okay, so we're creating the space, and how am I behaving to this space I have, to the space in general, to the space in time and in my daily life, okay? And if we tend to go until the last point, and this is for my clients very typical, it was typical for me, but now I'm trying to understand in order how to guide you, because I really understood we must create the space for ourselves to not experience pain. But this is a space where we are practicing experiencing the different, maybe the opposite of the pain, which is relief and relaxation and peace. So the more you create the space and the more you fill your space with basically preventing the pain and working on it before, And especially if you know that repetitively, this can go to menstruation or the female cycle. I'll talk about this also. I have it saved in the highlights on my page about the approach to the 4 phases of the women's cycle for women. This is essential to understand, maybe even for men, because then you can collaborate and you can work hand in hand and not against yourself. And this is what you're actually achieving. With creating space, you want to achieve working with yourself instead of against yourself. Okay? And so we need to be aware of, am I acting like wasting my whole energy on everyday basis or in terms of the month? And am I running until the last point where, okay, now I can relax. I can relax after. I can relax after I'm too overwhelmed, after I'm too stressed, after I'm too tired. And this, it also made me realize a good association, which is, one of my coaching friends told me this, maybe she's not even aware of the impact she had, but she was telling me about hunger, which is a great association and will help you understand that if we're hungry, then actually it's too late for getting food. Because usually if we're hungry, then we start making something and then we go over that past point. But actually the sensation of hunger is already a state where we haven't accommodated our needs before. Our essential needs are, okay, can be in a form of eating or not eating, that's your choice, it's possible, but being aware of your body, basically you can live without eating, but that's for another time, but that still, you can't live without the exchange, without the incoming, the inhale and the exhale. So talking about a situation where we eat on a regular basis and maintain, let's say, a healthy diet. So these are the lows where we put ourselves until. So, for example, the hunger is a great example where me getting hungry is already past very maybe long time after I have accommodated my intuitive need of eating. So when I also often talk about migraines, and pain is related so much to accommodating your needs, and actually this then goes to everything in your life, to your relationships, to your money situation, everything. Okay, but if we constantly create the situations of lack, which means the hunger, the not enough money, the not enough rest, the going into the migraine, we have stepped into the pain. But long before, of course, this is based on how sensitive we become to each other and how we feel the pain is arriving. Then long ago we know that this state will arrive, and we can prevent this state much, much earlier. So this is where we need to be aware of the space that comes before, because we keep lying to ourselves and we keep saying, that's still good, that's still good, that's still good, I can keep going on. But actually, we know deep down that there is something that we're weakening ourselves, for example. But we usually let it get to a certain point when it's too bad or unbearable. And this is where the chronic pain strengthens and it repeats itself. Of course, why wouldn't it? Because on one side, we're already expecting it to arrive, subconsciously, sometimes even consciously. It's somehow accepted that pain has to be a part of our life, but trust me, it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. But obviously, getting into this point, for example, for me, it was from experiencing really, really severe pain, months and months, days and days, in constant, basically like without a stop, in constant cycles. But then I also had a different phase where basically in every situation you can feel it arising. Okay, it can arise For me, it's been maybe 30 times a day. Every situation can be triggering, especially if you're opening the wounds, if you're working with your traumas, if you're working on yourself, on the healing of your whole, if you have decided to live and to live a great life and that you can have really what you desire, which I think is the inner peace and the inner calmness and the inner wisdom, where then you become static, then you become grounded in yourself, you become aligned, and whatever is there for you, you just receive the messages and go with them. Go with the flow of the intuition. What needs to be done resolves itself easily. Whatever information you need to receive, you will receive in the right time and place. And you're aware of the space. And in this phase I was talking about, to me it was arising, like the pain coming gently. And the further I get, basically now I'm happy to say that I'm experiencing days without the pain even arising and moments without the pain even arising. But it's hard for someone to imagine that this was never my situation. Maybe for me, for what you accepted that it was normal to you, then maybe if you're there and you're experiencing the pain during the day in all the situations, really in all of them, in a different state, because you're finding the balance, you're finding the harmony, that's okay. And know that by following it and by still allowing yourself to be aware of the space, where are your needs actually? What are your needs actually? Because if you're experiencing severe pain, you have suppressed those needs, and that's okay. But you need to know that you can again find the connectedness with you, and you can experience days without pain. Like seriously, days without pain, which not long ago for me was really impossible to even imagine, to even think about it. And of course, because the pain has been a coping mechanism, it has been with you here forever, you know it, and you're even expecting it to arrive. But again, what does it give you? Okay, always it's giving you something, and it's giving you, filling you with the space you actually want. Because the pain, if it arises, it enables you to say to yourself, okay, now I can rest. Okay, now I can avoid that triggering situation. Okay, now I can avoid or cancel the plans. But what happens if you cancel your plans before that need? What happens if you plan your schedule so that it's maintainable, and if it's not, with your work and life and whatever there is, and if it's not, then adjusting it before it gets too hard, before it gets too much. Because we always know it's gonna get too much. We always know, we can predict this. We know when it's gonna get overwhelming, when there's something not right in our business, in our lives, in something. Okay, we always know in advance, and actually long in advance. And this is where we have to be aware of the space that we are filling. We are filling the space with overthinking, with expectations, with whatever we think we need to do, and however we think we need to even explain ourselves and talk about what we need and explain what we need and why. This is not really always the case, especially if you're experiencing non-stop chronic pain, and it's just become engraved with you. It's just grown with you, and it has been a part of your life, like on the everyday basis. You can't even imagine that it would be differently subconsciously. You're not even expecting it to be different. But in order to change this, you really must give yourself that space to not get overwhelmed, to not get hungry, to not get too tired. This is where then you start manifesting from that energy. Because whenever you're at a certain vibration, you're manifesting at that vibration. Always, always. It's actually neutral. It's actually linear in terms of what's coming out of you will manifest in front of you in your reality. Okay, it's very, very simple in the core, but obviously we need usually something strong to understand it. We keep trying, okay, and we keep trying. What if I still finish this? I can still finish this. I can finish. Why would I stop now? I'm getting tired, but why would I stop now? I can still go for another 2 hours, okay? And this is where we start manifesting things from the energy of tiredness, from the energy of lack. This goes, for example, for money. We're like, if you want more money, you need to learn how to receive. If you want the opposite, or you need to, if you want the flow, then you need to have the balance between giving and receiving. But we give conditions, we judge the sources, we judge how the things are, and we condition ourselves, which then in the conditional love to ourselves, it doesn't flow and it's not harmonized. And then the manifestation occurs mainly, or can occur in your body, and it can occur, for example, in terms of pain. So you are manifesting some kind of imbalance because you are in the state of an imbalance. You are the one denying your needs, not even being aware of them, not knowing that they're there. And that's okay, because in the beginning, maybe you've grown up like this, you've been like this your whole life, and that's okay. But allowing there to be space, even to think, really, is it? Because always when we don't know, it's usually a no. When we do know, we really know. Then it depends on your human design, which human design type you are. I did a different live on this. But it can be really simple if you understand that really what it tells you, basically, or women should attract and be magnetic, or the women's energy, but we have maybe learned it a different way, and that's okay. But you need to become aware of learning it a different way and creating that space for what you want to come into that space. Because the mistake we make is that we fill that space with what we don't want. Okay, so for example, overwhelm then results in fatigue or long-term stress or something. And we are overwhelmed, we're feeling already overwhelmed, but we still keep going until it's too much, or until it's maybe explainable for us. Because whenever you have the need of explaining yourself, explaining your actions, you need to explain them to yourself, actually, because there's no one else that can be expecting the same from you that you're expecting from yourself. Okay, so whatever you're not manifesting in your life, whatever you are, it is what you are creating from that state, from that energy right now. And we must become aware of the space before, if we're not actually secretly hoping for it to arrive. Because usually with pain we are. With an overwhelming schedule, with an overwhelming life, with the busyness. Because, for example, if we connect our actions with our abundance, this is a conditioning. If we connect what we do with how much we earn, this is conditioning, because it's not reality. It's not true. It's a reality for us. Okay, but if we create space for, okay, what is the different action? And the misleading thing is that the action sometimes is non-reacting, just being, and especially when we don't know, when we're not sure. Sometimes it's very strongly calling us, then we take action, and probably there's something, some message for us in that, some learning. But if we do want to manifest something else than pain, for example, we must learn how to see before the layers of where are my needs, where really are my needs. Okay, because, and this is super, let's say, not typical, but characteristic for migraines, that we tend to really underestimate our needs. And we feel like they're not important, like the one pieces of the puzzle, like the certain needs, eating, resting, I don't know, being with people, etc., having money even. Those are our basic needs in some form, the way we have set up our lifestyle. Maybe they're not, but the way for you they work. But then we focus on pain again. Pain again has arrived and it's in the way of what I want. It's here blocking me from what I want is after. What I want is after that, but in this space there's pain. But actually we must understand that we have filled the space with the pain. Therefore that's why we're in it. And whatever we did before was on subconscious level or in some way painful. This is why it keeps repeating itself. Or we did painful in terms of not feeding yourself is harmful for yourself, but obviously it is related to many things, and it is related to your belief about yourself or to the programs you have received from your ancestral line, from the women before you, from the people around you, from whoever you have been surrounding yourself. So of course, if you don't work with your mindset, or if you don't work with your energy, if you're not aware, then you're just taking what you received and putting it in front of you. You're just taking the patterns and using them, projecting. They just go through you if you're not aware of them. And that's okay. This is the experience. This is how we can be aware or not aware of certain levels. And that functioning and that patterns repeating can be okay for us. And this is no one else's decision than our own. We can either work with them for only ourselves. We can't ever do it for someone else, or someone else can't do this for us. This is where it will always flow through us. So whatever you are manifesting in your life is the space you're filling it with. And you are choosing subconsciously what you fill your space with. And then the uncomfortableness arrives. But you didn't want to do it in the first place. You didn't want to be hungry in the first place. But then it arrives and we act like, oh, why? Oh, why is it? We're not really listening. Whether if there's still something occurring like this, any uncomfortableness is because we have been experiencing and we have been acting with the uncomfortableness. So, for example, doing really something that's painful for us in some level, then we manifest the pain. Okay, so we must become aware of how we're filling the space. And I just want to check if I have... Yeah, this goes to drama in your life that multiplies and more, and because you feed it with your energy. Okay, and this is okay with the multiplying and doing nothing needs space to be created. Yeah. So I'm just checking my notes. I have only 4 this time, but they're really strong. And I was thinking about this topic a lot today. And yeah, doing nothing needs space to be created in your life. For example, also relaxing, also being at ease. This needs the space. It needs you to bring it into your life. It needs you to decide to do nothing for 1 hour. It needs you to decide, now you're just gonna be. Otherwise you won't ever achieve being if you don't decide, okay, I'm okay with how things are, and I don't have to spend the time in the past, in the future, worrying about things. I can be right here, right now, and this is where I'm focusing my energy on creating that space, but literally. You can imagine it practically. So yes, meditation, yes, whatever, but not doing it with the goal of something, with the goal of achieving, because we tend to go into visualizations to always get the messages and to visit the past lives and the future lives and whatever. But this is always doing something in order of receiving something. But you must understand you already have what you want. You already have it, and it's always, always available for you. So you have pain and you have relief within yourself. Those are the two polarities, and you can experience either one of them. It's your choice, you're the one you're experiencing. And whatever you focus your energy on grows. Therefore, for example, a dramatic situation, the more you focus on it, and that's the same with pain, or labeling things even, any types of disorder, any types of, that's why I call it uncomfortableness, because actually it should be as neutral as it is, because experiencing pain is neutral, but once we take it and grasp to it and define ourselves with it, then it can become, let's say, it can become, I lost the word, dangerous for us. It can become dangerous and harmful. This is where then it accumulates and you're layering it. But you must learn how to unlayer it and how to create more space for the other polarity. Because how are we actually expecting relief to come in if we're like, bam, 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 this is what I need to do today. Bam, 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 this is what I need to do today. And if you have peace in your life, it multiplies when you feed it with your energy. So this is the second polarity. Okay, dramatic polarity, peaceful. It can only multiply when you feed it with your energy. Right, so half an hour is over, and thank you for being here, and thank you for watching from the recording, and thank you for all the messages you're sending me, because it really motivates me to keep going. And yeah, it motivates me that you find what you need. That's why I'm saving the reels here, and you can find them when you need them, and they're here for you. So thank you. Probably the next one will be on Tuesday, but I'm not sure. And I'll see you then. Have a nice day.